Cool. Welcome back to Silence is Canceled. Chris and I are here again. And this week we want to talk about how to find a therapist. I think this is, in my recent search, I've discovered that it is not necessarily as straightforward as one would think.
Not at all. Not at all.
The most... Yeah.
As a therapist, it's embarrassingly hard. It took me a while to find my own therapist.
My sort of takeaway from my initial search was, you guys have no idea what marketing is at all. You guys are so bad at this.
We didn't have that class in our graduate or doctoral programs.
You really bought into the field of dreams. Like, if I build it, they will come. Like you are still floating that. So you're even wearing a baseball hat today. So I'm just let me just tell you,
it's my admin day today. Yeah.
Tell you that does not work.
No,
it gets even more complicated, and I don't want to scare people off of this, but it gets not complicated. It gets more challenging. Then, even if you have insurance, it gets more challenging, because then you're having then you can't just do like a Google search and find somebody if you don't know somebody already. Then you have a very specific list, and what I found, even in my insurance list, like there's no information, just a name and a phone number. And it's like, well, how? And then when I go to search the person, I find almost no information whatsoever. And so this is a little, I don't know what therapists can do about this, but if you're a therapist listening to this, this is a problem.
I would say that if you are a therapist listening to this, and it's something that those of us in private practice have really had to work hard on, and that is being able to present a message that understands where a person is at, what they're struggling with, and how we can help hopefully in the language that the potential client or person can understand. And so even the language that we use has so much jargon around it that sometimes we can really miss people, or we say, hey, we specialize in this thing or that thing, and there's initials behind it, and which most of the general public doesn't know what those things mean, nor should they for any reason. And so there really is a messaging challenge that we're having to work through as therapists and as just all of the rest of us who are trying to seek out the right fit, the right therapist for us, But I think what you were saying, Sid, is really important. A lot of people have benefits, mental health benefits that they aren't currently using. And oftentimes, unfortunately, and this is a broad generalization, I want to be careful, but our insurance companies, our managed care isn't helping us guide into those directions. So it's like, here's a list, give a person a call and go see what happens.
Yeah, like that is just not helpful at all. And then I was told even the best way then isn't even to look through the insurance's website. It's like, to get the best resources and the most update, like you just have to call them. Which, as we know, calling an insurance company is like, you're going to spend ungodly amount of hours on the phone just to get to a human, right? Because everything is AI these days.
Well, and to complicate that more, calling a therapist can be challenging too, because most of us are inundated right now. And especially if my practice actually doesn't work directly with insurance, but we're still pretty full. And so trying to give us a call, and we try to have a 24-hour callback policy, or at least business hours policy. It's, to be jammed up in clients, jammed up in all kinds of work, and it's hard to get to that. So again, there are some real challenges here to finding a therapist that we really need to address and identify and really create some solutions.
Yeah. So what are some good first steps for somebody who is, regardless of insurance status or whatever, somebody is like, they've gone through They've already arrived at the point where they know that they need to go see a therapist. I would assume one of the, at least, I don't know if it's a safe option, but if you know people you trust, maybe the first step is just to ask them if they know anybody.
That's exactly where I was going to go. It's not something we talk about and something we need to normalize a lot more. So if I'm working with a trainer at a gym and he or she is doing great work and I'm finding a physical transformation I'm looking for, I'm usually talking about that. And so we need to have the courage to have more of that talk. And, there are plenty of people out there that do this. Say, hey, here's my therapist. They sort of become the megaphones or the marketing arm for many therapists. But yeah, seeing who's around you, word of mouth, who's worked well with other people and what's been effective. And yeah, and then of course you can scour, websites. If you know a therapist or know people who know therapists, it's just getting to talk to people around you, seeing what's out there and seeing what resources are available.
Yeah.
And especially in many college, university settings as well, there are lots of great training facilities. We work with one tied to a university that, one of our co-founders at Way Thru, Jackie Mack-Harris, works at Hope International, has a great MFT program. I can say that. I graduated from there. They have a training center where it's like, if people can't afford us at Renovari, we can refer them there and they're going to get good counsel, good therapy.
So there's,
So asking around and really seeking what resources are out there.
And if I am then searching, let's say online, and I do find and say I'm not restricted to who I can go to, and I find people that have done the work and have some information. Like, I mean, how do I filter that? Because it's going to be almost overwhelming.
It's always going to be a risk, but I think, you kind of go on instinct. And then ask if they do like a 15-minute consultation, which just means, hey, can I have a conversation about here's what I'm struggling with, or here's what I think is going on, and here's what I would like help with. Can you help me with that? And then again, try it on. If you try a therapist and it works, and I know it can be a little weird and awkward, but at least I say it with my clients all the time. If for any reason this doesn't work, that's okay. I just want to get you to the place where it does work. And so it may take a few tries to get the right fit.
Yeah. But it's worth the risk. If you're stuck, then you got nothing to lose by at least taking at least one step moving forward.
Yeah.
And if that person doesn't work out, you at least now have your legs are maybe a bit more stable when it comes to at least that process of just trying somebody out to see. Hopefully it's not as scary, and hopefully you're not scared away by the said person on the other side of the screen or in the room with you. So you mentioned like training, like a university training type setting. I'm assuming those could be found almost anywhere there's a major university.
Yeah, typically speaking, or even smaller colleges that have a graduate program or doctoral program that leads towards licensure, for people. And so those students going through those programs need hours, and they're getting great supervision. Typically, they're being trained well, and so that could be a great low fee resource that is out there, and many other community resources out there that can fit in that as well. And so, but really, looking for, the right person, again, you may want to scour the internet, ask for resources. Oftentimes, doctors are tied to therapists or no therapeutic resources. So asking your doctor would be a good idea.
You would think that would make so much sense, but I like never thought of that.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Talk to your doctor. Just ask them, hey, do you know somebody? Doesn't need to be yours, but yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is still word of mouth, which is back to the sort of first point.
Back to word of mouth, but again, is if we're looking online and we find someone that maybe has language that connects with us, or we've heard through a specialty, hey, man, I'm feeling low and mood is off and all this thing. I think I'm feeling depressed. Is there someone out there who specializes in depression or anxiety, or maybe I need to work on my marriage and it's couples. I want to look for someone who is a couple specialist. Adolescent children. There's many different things out there that we need to be looking for. And so, we can definitely scour online and look for, who that fit may be.
And one of the things you said in a previous conversation we had was why that looking for somebody who is licensed is so important. Looking for an actual licensed therapist because of just because they have access to the research. Like they've done the work, they've done the research, and they're gonna
the training and all the specialties. Yeah. So we know, just like any other profession, that not all therapists and therapeutic processes are created equal, and we know there'll be better fits, I'll say, and more proficiency for some than for others. And so, but we won't know that until kind of like we experience it. And that's where kind of word of mouth helps out a lot. It helps vet that process a little bit. But again, sometimes it's just taking the risk and saying, hey, it could be something as simple or as silly as I like the way the person looked in their profile picture. It's like, okay, try it out, see how it goes.
Yeah, just start from somewhere.
Yes, absolutely.
And then see how it grows, how it develops.
And most therapists will have a list of specialties somewhere on their profile, no matter, kind of what internet platform that they have, so like we have a website, and of course there's a biography for each one of our therapists, but we're going to list, what are their specialties? What really do they address?
Right.
And so you want to look like, if what you're struggling with,
you want to find someone
who specializes in it. And to see if they have training in that area as well.
Yeah, that's good. And that's just kind of very, sort of straightforward. It's almost like, don't overthink it. A bit. It's like
for those with the mental health issues that tend to overthink things,
which can be very hard to do.
Yeah, we can.
Which for me, this was the real struggle of going through that process as somebody who gets sort of massive anxiety when it comes to that much information. Like information overload, I just shut down. I was like, I can't, I'm going to have to take like a month off before I start this process again. It was just too much, just too much. And which is interesting because you need that sort of help, but that last bridge,
that step
is a big one. It's It's not so easy. There's some trolls along the way. They're trying to eat you.
I really, really do wish it was much easier across the country to be able to identify and look and see what's a fit, see what's a fit financially, but most importantly, see what's a fit for you in your mental and emotional wellness journey. And with that said, I always want to make this point. There is not a single area of our being, of our existence, of our life that isn't negatively impacted by our mental and emotional struggles. Similarly, there isn't an area of our life that isn't positively impacted by our mental and emotional wellness. And so cost for many, including myself, may be a barrier or may be a hesitation. But I can definitively say for myself that the return on investment both financially, but also time and energy wise, into my healing and growth journey towards greater mental, emotional, relational wellness it's just, there's not a price tag on it. And so it may take some budgeting. It may take some like, hey, this person may, be in my network, but maybe not as good a fit or help me as this person out of my network. Or maybe I just don't have insurance or mental health benefits in my insurance plan, and I need to access this in some way. Or even if I do have it, it may still be some out-of-pocket costs that can add up. But I just want to encourage you, if you find the right person, you find the right process, do whatever it takes. Really do whatever it takes. Get resourceful. Talk with your therapist about, if they have what we call a sliding scale or whatever the case may be. But getting in the process of your mental and emotional wellness is just an invaluable payoff. And not just for yourself, but I don't know if most importantly, but certainly as important for the people around you. It really, if you want to give, we're coming up on a holiday season here, and it's like, if you want to give the best gift to the people around you, it will be a healthier you.
For sure. Yeah. And just, especially with just being able to show up, at least I can think of, some family dynamics, being able to show up in a healthy space without stirring pots further that are already stirring. There's, I know, just to make it, sort of real, and you guys have really brought in to light that, and this is sort of takes this sort of surface level topic to very deep, but that COVID has really ripped families apart. And not just in getting sick and dying, but in the disparities of vax, unvax, left, right, all of it.
Yeah, our cultural and political environment has been, let me just say, very toxifying, incredibly toxifying. And our news cycles are not helping us with that. I can definitively say that we know Facebook intentionally toxifies to drive clicks and to drive business.
Yeah. And that's their business model.
We take, we take special care, in our practice. And what I really like to do with clients is really create a plan of wellness, especially around the holidays, especially with family, help them identify, what are the hills you're going to die on, and which are the ones that you're just going to let go. Because your well-being is just not worth that time in that space or that person's perspective or actions or reactions. And so helping clients and people walk through that really well is super important, and again, taking some really strong boundaries around and careful look at the information that we are doing an intake with, looking at our information diet. There, again, this is going a little off topic of how do you find a good therapist? But a good therapist, and let me just say this, Sid, because this is important, will help you with what you're looking for. And so it's important that you're able to have a voice in that therapeutic relationship and in your journey. And you're able to say what's working for you and what's not working for you, And there may be times where it's like a client wants something, man, that's just not me, not who I am, not what I can help you with. However, again, let's get you to the person who can help you with that.
Yeah, that's very good. And I think to sort of summarize sort of what we've been saying is there may be barriers to finding the right therapist. It may not happen in that first instance. But that journey and that investment is worth it. And for us, it's worth it because we believe that, well, we all matter and the people around us. I know I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it's just true. You matter to people, And being the best version of yourself is, as you so adequately pointed out, is really the best gift you can give somebody. Period.
Yeah. I mean, I know as a husband, as a father, as a professional, as a coach, for youth sports and all, just the different ways that engaged in life, my internal world really does determine how I show up. And so being able to work on that and find places to work on that. And it's been part of my own journey. It's like how I became a therapist is discovering my own therapeutic journey and working through a lot of, stuff from my childhood, struggles I was working with in addictive issues, but a lot of anxiety and depression and insecurities and all these ways in which it would show up in very weird and awkward ways. And of course, that stuff shows up when you get married. And I think it's her fault, not mine. Lo and behold,
it's mine.
Lo and behold. So, but when I was able to get into that journey myself and also, be very interested in being part of that community, part of that profession, and getting some affirmation. And then, the last, 15 years of my life or whatever that have really kind of gone down that pathway. It's been so much fun and challenging, but most importantly, it's been meaningful. And the meaningful part of that is just that, helping guide people, including myself, to show up to my life and the people around us a little bit better, a little bit healthier, causing less harm in the world, but more goodness and more positivity and more, again, health in the world. And again, I don't think you can put a price tag on that. I just want to tell people, do the work, and the work is you. The work is your insides. That's the work.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Chris. Again, thanks to our audience for listening or watching or however you are, or reading, I guess, on our blog. And if you just want to encourage you to, if you're looking for a therapist, to just keep going. It's worth it. And
it is worth it. Can I mention one other thing? Zoom has, or virtual has expanded our options. Right. I can see anyone in the state of California, and it's a big state. So if there's someone, 700 miles away from me in Redding, I can see them virtually.
Yeah.
So if you're in a rural or you're in an area where you don't find a lot of resources, again, if someone's licensed in your state, and they do virtual work, you can still do the work. Yep.
Yeah. And if you find yourself sort of blocked in that process, please reach out to us either through our website or through Facebook, and we will certainly try our best to help you navigate that process. You can find us on Facebook at Way Thru org, or our website at waythru.org. So thank you again for listening, and I wish you all a very good day.